Doodle on the screen and a bop in the beat. Crystal's got a theory and she's bringing the heat. With a playlist rolling and a case to crack, she's digging through the weird and she ain't looking back. Crystal's crime and music. Hey, hey, hey. Weird little whispers and a beat that slays. She's grooving through the rumors, dancing through the doubt. Hop on the stream and help her figure it out. She's got headphones on and snacks in hand. She's sleuthing in slippers, ain't it grand? Crimes and chords, it's a curious mix, but she'll remix that mystery just for kicks. Crystal's crime and music, let's roll. Talking strange old stories with a heart and soul. From cryptic clues to a disco track, she's chasing down weirdness and never looks back. She don't solve crimes, just talks and vibes with a keyboard click and detective drive. She's got music moods and wild ideas and a soft spot for victims through the years. Is that a ghost? Or just bad Wi-Fi? Did that dude lie? Or is it all a sigh? Whatever the twist, Crystal's on the screen with a snack, a song, and a mystery meme. So grab your tea and your favorite chair. She's cracking up theories out of thin air. One part groove, one part hum. It's Crystal's show, let's have some fun. Crystal's crime and music, tune it loud, where the silly gets spooky and the beats are proud. She's laughing, guessing, and spilling the tea. Come vibe with the queen of crime and melody.
Hey Linda, hey Angie's Life. So tonight we're going to start with, let's hope they don't strike me. I'm not going to try not to attack them. I'm curious to know if they knew the age ones. Prior to covering Summer's case and how exactly they made it to Summer's case and how they made their connections and who they reached out to first. But I think Cam shared a really good video. I think it was last night. And we're going to listen to him only because he clipped something I was going to go look for and share with you guys today. Seems like everybody's covering Dudley right now. But we're going to listen to what Cam has to say. I'm not going to make too much commentary on Cam tonight. But when we get to, it's only a 5-minute video, and when we get to Dudley, I want you to pay attention to that clip. And then we're going to go back to what I was sharing the other day. We didn't share yesterday, but we're going to finish the Chris McDonough phone call with Dawn. And then when we finish that, we're going to go to the share and Dudley and Dawn. I might skip. We might look at some other stuff. You guys know how I do. But here's where we're going to start. Let's just go with the flow. Cam, you're welcome to grab a link. I'll leave one in the chat for you.
All right, so I got to be fair. And I caught this last night on the lab. Don has always said that he drove the Subaru on the 15th when Summer went missing. Well, he answers Chris McDonough on the lab last night and says he drove it the day before, which everything I've been told by him, he did drive it the day before because that's when Dudley said he saw him drive it. But Dudley has always not made a lot of sense, and it sounded like Dudley was talking about the 15th, but he got fired on the 14th. I don't know if that's what's confused Don or what, but I said I would always be fair, and I got to call it how I see it. He did say this wrong about what he drove, and I'm just trying to bring, the truth as best as I can. Right now, this is the truth. That's what he said. There might be a reason. have been in a high pressure situation, already being on there with Josh and Chris McDonough, and you know, he felt the pressure and spoke wrong. I don't know what it is, but I know it's not what he said from the beginning. So check this out. Like I said, just calling it how I see it.
So you leave the house. What car do you take that day? I forget.
I had the Subaru that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take your truck that day? People are going to ask.
Well, because the car was just sitting there, and I'm paying these payments, $600 a month plus the insurance, and it's just sitting there. And I thought, well, I might as well get some use out of it. And I threw all my tools in there and started driving it for a little while, just because,
Yeah. And so,
mainly bought it. Yeah. Yeah.
So you take the truck, or the car. How far away is your job? What are you doing?
It is 45 minutes away in Jonesboro. So she said something about taking them up to the lake or whatever. I thought, well, hell, I might as well just work late because there's no point in me going home. They're out doing their thing, and I might as well just stay late and do what I can. And then, my boss come by and made fun of me. She's about my car. I was using that brand new car for drywall and giving me a hard time about that.
I had fired.
Through the kitchen to go to work.
I go upstairs and go to the kitchen to get in my truck and head to work.
Okay, so you go to work, but that day you didn't take your truck, right?
Yeah, I've used the Subaru the day before.
Mm-hmm.
I had fired Dudley because I was sure he was on meth and acting all crazy and stuff. I mean, just out of his mind. And I even looked on YouTube as to how people act when they're on meth, and he fit every single one of them.
Well done, dude.
Well,
come on, man. You've seen 1,000 people on meth, bro. You don't have to look on YouTube for that one, buddy. Come on. That's like a cop looking around for donuts in a donut shop and not knowing what they look like. Come on.
You hear me?
Hope you're good tonight.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, what are we laughing about? Hey, I don't deal with meth.
No, I didn't say you. I said
you've seen meth. You've seen people on meth before.
Seen people on meth. I mean, it's kind of crazy to look on YouTube. So I said, yeah, go ahead.
Well, you tend to forget after a while, if unless it's something you're dealing with all the time, you forget little things like that. But I knew he was out of his damn mind and saying all kinds of crazy stuff, and he couldn't do his job. And anyway, I don't want to talk about that dude.
See, that I'm going to stop and comment on, because when I originally listened to this and I originally clipped it, I don't know if I ever reported on it, but that took me by surprise, because how ignorant. Chris has Dawn on panel. Could this be why we get a little bit of the attitude that we do from Dawn and Candace? Chris has Dawn on panel, and here's Dawn like saying, look, I've looked up the meth stuff, being serious about Dudley. Like, he just don't act right, and I wanted to compare the comparisons. My daughter's missing. I've looked this shit up. Good to see you too, Green Eyes. But here's Chris downing him. I'm going to go back a few and have you listen to that. This is the shit that pisses me off.
Well, you tend to forget after a while, if unless it's something you're dealing with all the time, you forget little things like that. But I knew he was out of his damn mind and saying all kinds of crazy stuff, and he couldn't do his job. And anyway, I don't want to talk about that dude. Anyway,
okay. All right, that's fine.
It's been proven that he just got busted, for all the charges he's got. That's
right.
all the I need.
All drugs, no problem. So let's get back to you decide to take the car that day.
I took it.
Keep in mind, Rick Crawford got busted that same day, and so did the whaling guy that we spoke about last night briefly.
The day before, I think, because I've been driving my truck for a long time. We went through this already. I just wanted to put some miles on the Subaru. So.
Oh, okay, so you wanted to drive the Subaru, and you loaded it up with all your stuff.
The day before. And the day before, we had actually had a welfare case where somebody called and said I was letting the kids run around with loaded guns, which was totally idiotic and stupid. So they closed that case the day before. That night, about 7 p.m., they was out there and closed the case.
No, I'm going to tell you why I think that that's bullshit. It's just an opinion I'm building. But if DHS has an appointment to come to your home, it's going to be during business hours. The fact that DHS showed up at their house at 7 p.m. the day before tells me that they weren't there to close the case. They were there to check on children running around with pew-pews. They weren't there to close the case. If you guys hear my do-do-do-do-do, that's my cameras. I have been looking at them because my daughter-in-law thought she seen someone enter my home the other day. We don't know. She might have been confused, but she thought she had seen somebody come in my home and thought she heard somebody shut the door. We don't have proof of it. Nothing's missing, or we ain't been fucked with, I don't think. However, I just got my cameras on a close watch just in case. But, yeah. Just crazy shit here. I really do think that they weren't. And also another thing, too, before I replay this, Jody Sue spoke on this very early on. Chillbilly, no. Chillbilly Creations, no. Tennessee CPS, DCS, they'll show up at funny hours. Yeah, but usually that's because they get a call. There's a reason for them to come out. Do you understand? It's usually in an emergency situation. They're not going to go out of their way, take themselves away from their family. They are overloaded with cases. However, there's laws and rules they have to abide by. And they only usually, at least in my state, which is a commonwealth, and we have pretty rough regulations here, they don't come after 5 p.m. They'll send a letter. They'll call you and say, hey, we're coming. But if they get a call on the day they get the call, they'll show up at your house. So maybe it is what you're saying, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's that they got a call that day. I just don't see them closing the case, and I don't really believe that they were there to close the case for pew-pews. That's just my opinion. Maybe there was a new case opened that day, but I believe that they had already had an open case, as we're going to hear, and as we've been listening to the last couple days, Dudley say, and in the Share interview with Dudley and Don, Don's going to admit, yes, I was hiding from CPS. And that's what I want you guys to listen to tonight when we get there. All right. Let's finish Cam off.
And the very next day, Summer come on missing. But anyway, back to what you're saying.
No, that's fine. So somebody had snitched you off that there was a CPS problem of some sort?
No, they said we was letting the kids run around with loaded guns.
Okay. Well, and CPS worked through that. We don't need to talk about that stuff.
Yeah, they closed that case the day before.
Okay, that's cool. So let's go back to that morning. What time do you wake up?
Them and give them your number. But I'm trying to bring all this stuff to light because I don't know what police are doing. I don't know what TBI is doing.
Sure.
I know a lot of people talk a big talk, and then they come out here and they're just worried about their own agenda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, that's what you were saying about me.
Yeah, and if I'm wrong, I apologize to you. Okay.
Well, that's okay. I mean, I don't take anything personal.
I appreciate that.
So I have a question though.
Yes, sir.
Let's go back to the day. Okay.
Yes.
Unpack that day for me. When did you leave for work? And then when the 911 or when you.
I left early that morning. Summer was by my side, and I left for work. And I worked all day, and then I called her at some point. I guess when she was in Walgreens, I says, "Well, what are you doing?" And So she said something about taking them out to the lake or whatever. I thought, well, hell, I might as well just work late because there's no point in me going home. They're out doing their thing, and I might as well just stay late and do what I can. And then, my boss come by and make fun of me. She's about my car. I was using that brand new car for drywall and giving me a hard time about that. I was talking to her.
Now, you said Summer was by your side. What does that mean?
She was asleep by my side when I woke up.
Okay, got it. And
Yeah,
what time was that approximately?
I'd say about 7,
Okay,
maybe earlier, 6:30 or 7, somewhere in there.
okay. And
Yeah, she had to be by me. She just had to be by me.
that's her personality.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she loves me to death. I could say just one harsh word to her and she would break down. I'd have to apologize to her 10 times over.
Right.
I mean, it just kills me that she's gone.
And
Literally.
Her room was right next door to yours, too.
Yeah, and we tried to make her sleep in her own bed, and she'd come to me with big tears in her eyes and say, "But Daddy, I want to sleep with you.
Yeah.
I want to be with you." And I couldn't say no. I just couldn't.
And how long has she been doing that?
For 5 years.
Wow.
All her life.
Every night?
Yes, sir.
Wow, that's a bond.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow. And so walk me through it. What time do you get up? And what do you remember last about seeing Summer?
All I remember is when I woke up is her feet and her foot being under me, kind of, I remember her being there, and I covered her up a little bit or whatever and left. And she sleeps just right between me and Mom every night,
Right.
But, I just went to work, normal day. Luckily, I guess that a couple of guys I talked to that day and the big boss seen me that day knows where I was. And it wasn't 30 minutes, 40 minutes after Jamie left. We sit there and talk for 30 minutes, just sit there and talk,
Now,
But after he left,
okay.
Jamie's he's another finisher that was working out here.
Got it. So you leave the house. What car do you take that day? I forget.
I had the Subaru that day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take your truck that day? People are going to ask.
Well, because the car was just sitting there, and I'm paying these payments, $600 a month plus the insurance, and it's just sitting there. And I thought, well, I may as well get some use out of it. And I threw all my tools in there and started driving it for a little while, just because,
Yeah.
And so mainly product. Yeah.
So you take the car. How far away is your job? What are you doing?
It is 45 minutes away in Jonesboro.
All right.
Yeah.
And then what time do you get there? Do you remember?
I don't. I probably went and had some breakfast, somewhere or whatever, and come out here. I don't remember for sure. No, I don't.
Okay. What time do you call Candace, if you remember? I'm just trying to figure out the timeline and the window.
I'm trying to think. I'd say, maybe 3 o'clock or something like that.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'm not sure of that at all.
And where was she when you called her? Do you know?
So I think she said she was either at Walgreens or headed to the lake, or I can't remember. But that's why I thought, well, I might as well just stay and work because, that's just what I do. But,
yeah, I mean, so when you got the call, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
Well, she called panicking. And I said, well, just in case, hang up and call 911. And, and I thought it was, for some reason, I thought it was 5:30. To be honest with you, I don't trust police. And we showed them all the information on our phones because they wanted to know. They wanted to know the timeline. So we showed them right then. When I got there, they wanted to know all that. And they wrote it all down.
And when you got there, do you remember what time you arrived?
I have no idea. I wasn't paying attention. I I was on Messenger with Candace as she was driving her mother's truck around looking for her in the area. So
Okay.
I talked to her the whole way there, and it's really kind of weird that we was able to talk all the way there because normally we don't have connection like that.
Right.
As soon as you, yeah, it's kind of odd.
And what was she driving?
Her mother's truck.
That the Chevy, the Silverado?
Yeah, yeah.
And what was Grandma doing when you showed up?
I don't even know what she was doing. I think talking to the police and probably just standing there looking or whatever. I don't know.
And what were the boys doing?
Looking for Summer, and then once all the police started arriving, they, bottlenecked all the roads. Nobody could move. So they was in a state of confusion and panic, I'd say.
Now,
Cops in and out.
Was there a car at the bottom of your driveway when you pulled up? Like a
No.
cop car or anybody? You just pulled right
There
in?
was nobody there. I was the first one there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And what about when you got there, what was your first impression of where you should search first?
Well, that's why I drove down to the bottom, because I didn't even go to the house. I went straight by that shed on the bottom.
Yeah, is that the one where off the bottom of your property to the
Yes,
left?
yes.
Okay.
And got that little dirt road. I went past that. I went straight down that hill, straight to the creek, and that's when I seen my boys. And then I seen my neighbor Don walking to the left.
Give me 1 minute. I'm looking for something. Oh no, but we need to go through that again another day. What I'm looking for is Dawn's reenactment of what he did when he got home after this interview with Chris McDonough. Dawn recorded a video where he left his home and he took the path reaching Beach Creek the day that he came home. However, the strange thing about the video and leaving the shed is in that same video with no explanation. Dawn also takes us on a trip to Chimney Top Loop. I want to watch that video right now if I can find it. So just give me a moment and let's see if we can find it. I think that if I don't find it, Cher, Benny, or Tim Mullen had it. But I should be able to find it. Dawn Wells trip home. I'm trying to think of all of the search terms I would have saved it under. Okay, I'm not going to do this. Here's what we're going to do. Dawn Wells family. It's either here. Videos. Just bear with me a minute. We're going to find it. Lordy Lord, if anybody could help me find this shed, it might be cracking cases. Hold on. Here it is. I found it. It's a 14-minute video, but I want to watch this. You're going to shut your mouth. What are you going to do, Teddy? What am I going to shut my mouth about? Oh, that's Rapper. That's right. But what do you want me to shut my mouth about? You're petty. Petty Betty. We going to fight tonight, Rapper? Why you be reminding me of Green Eyes? Thank God, Green Eyes. Sheesh. You be trolling like that sometimes. I'm glad you talked back so quickly. But let's pay attention to this. No more distractions. This is important. Boys will be boys.
Okay, I'm gonna shoot the bottom of the dog trail where it comes out onto Ben Hill Road. I don't know why, but anyway, this creek is down here. You see the water through there, goes out through there. The ridge, let's see. But anyways, it's right here. It starts and goes up along the side of the ridge, goes up to the top to the almost to our back door. Okay, so on my way home that day, I knew that they were searching at the top of our hill for Summer, and I knew my best bet was to drive straight to the bottom of our property. So up here where this house is on the left is our road. I passed it straight. This is all our property here to the left. All this, our house is up there on top. So all this is our property. So I turn straight away in here. Straight. Our house is up there. I drove the Subaru straight down here. To the creek here. I went down this hill right here. I seen my boys straight away over there. All three of them were together. And I looked over to my left over this way, and I see my neighbor over there. And that's when I knew something was very, very wrong. And then, so I hollered several times, screamed for Summer. No, of course, no reply. And old hunting blind there. You see where the tree service. I'm gonna get out. Anyway, you can see where the tree service has cleared all this out, all the way, both ways for power lines. Okay, all the way up to that house up there. But anyway, so turn around. And then at that time, I don't know if I looked in this little shack here. It used to be for horses. I framed it in a little bit. I was going to try to utilize it, but I never used it. And inside this shed here is just a bunch of junk, whatever. A lawnmower, winds blowed the roof off. So, bunch of junk. So this time I drove to the top of our house. I guess I'll go ahead and film that. Chris said this hill was real bad. I had to use 4-wheel drive. I use my 2-wheel drive truck to come up this hill all the time. Anyway, thank you. Okay, this here is on the other side of our mountain chimney top. And on the back side of Chimney Top, there's a road called Chimney Top Loop. Now it circles around back out onto the main road. It's got film it. Somebody could have taken her around the base of the mountain and walk her to this side. And I've been through this road a few times before. There's actually an old dirt road and stuff that landslides on over the base of that mountain. It goes across on that side. But it's been covered up by a landslide. But it could have been walked or, you know. And all the way on the very, very top, I'm going to try to pull this up, is a tower. Can't see it with the camera, maybe barely, but all the way on top there, they say it's a fire tower, but what it is an old green and red light that turned, and that's how they got to Tri-Cities Airport back before radio communications was real good. Something like that. But I am sure that anything I think of, or anything the public has thought of, TBI has already thought of it many times. But there's something we're missing because we still haven't found it. You get out through these woods and stuff, I'd say it's almost next to impossible to even walk through some of this stuff.
on the other side of the hill, and I knew, like I say, I knew my heart. Just sank right there. I just knew she was gone.
And what brought you to that place first and not to the house?
Well, I figured they was looking all over the house, but I was thinking, well, they probably ain't been out buying property yet or anything, so that's what made me drive down there first.
Okay. And then, did you go into that shed?
No.
Is that,
well,
is
I
that
did.
yours too, by the way, real fast?
Yeah, that's ours. Well, I did. I don't know if I checked it then or later, but I know I did go in there and look. But I'm not sure if it was right then or I might have parked and walked in there and looked real quick. I just don't remember. But once I knew she was gone, I went to the top of the house. Went up the driveway up there.
So, why wouldn't you have gone into the shed? I'm curious.
I may have. I just can't be sure on that. If I did, I went in there, but I'm not sure if I went in there right then or if I went in there at a later time. I'm not sure.
Okay. And then go ahead. I'm listening.
Well, once the police started.
We know the children go down there and play, right? Let me grab a cigarette. However, Dawn shows us pictures of the shed, and the shed's unsafe for the children to play in. And if they are playing in the shed, because that's why he goes down there, that's where the boys are. Why are they all so interested in this one area? Cam, oftentimes reports on Sharfie. If you look up through the clearing, you can see Sharfie's home. Jody states that she's coming down at one point. She's on Simpson Loop. She looks under the trail, but then she states she's at the bottom of the... How do you get there? Are you fucking Superwoman? Because how are you looking under the thing down by Fred's house, still at the end of the driveway talking to Candace? I can see you continuing on till Dawn gets home the other way, but why does it take you so long to walk the creek just a block or two to the end where the guardrail is, which you also reported, where Dawn then sees, in my opinion, you or Dawn Chambers, who at the same time you state had boots on, so you took the creek and he took the trail and he was above you. Wouldn't Dawn have seen both of you? Why is it he only sees one of you? I just have so many questions about that based off of the things you said. And your words are implanted in my head. If they're not correct, please correct me, but we can go listen to that again another night. The shed was empty without a floor when we was there. So what? They got rid of the floor afterwards? How long was you there after, Joe Billy? That's strange. Oh, let me go back.
And everything. I was like, man, I'm going to go question all these damn drug dealers and everything like that. And, and they reluctantly said, go ahead. I says, I think y'all should put pressure on and everything. I was like, man.
So he's going to go question all the dealers. We know he goes to Fred's. However, the timing of him going to Fred's isn't until 9:30, I believe. Fred changed the time a couple times. 8:30, 9:30, 10. The FBI was there. The feds were there. There's never a straight time for when Dawn went down to Fred's home, but he shows Chris McDonough, I go to the drug dealers. And then he puts the video with Chimney Top Loop up. Where else did you travel, Dawn? We know the police allowed you to leave. Why is that the path you're traveling, in my opinion? Hey, Karen Elliott, why did you flip out when I showed you these pictures? And well, you acted strange. I wouldn't say flip out. But why did you get real strange with me after I sent you this information?
I'm gonna go question all these damn drug
I believe your words were, "Oh, I see."
dealers and everything like that.
And then 6 Up started attacking me. Or TPE, one of them. It might have been the first attack. Y'all are so transparent.
You know, and they reluctantly said, you know, go ahead. I says, I think y'all should put pressure on them and get a list of every person they know. And if it was me, I'd lock them up or whatever, and then start asking questions. But it's not up to me. But
Yeah, why would you do that? Why from your perspective?
Because okay, Ben Hill Road. If you know, I don't want to get him in trouble or nothing, but he everybody goes back there looking for pills, meth, or whatever it is they're looking for. You know, and we see all kinds driving back through there. We even see a car coming back there just barely running on 2 cylinders, just everything they got to get back there to ask him if he's got a pill or whatever. You know, it's crazy. I mean, my neighbor has caught people parking our driveways, sitting there doing drugs. You know, either early in the
That would be in reference to Jody Sue, who often called over and asked the Wills if that was their traffic at the end of the hill. That there was people down there and she was arguing with them, and it was around the time the hundreds of millions of trillions of people in that short couple months was coming to look at the Dobbs property, because everybody on the earth wanted this little short piece of hill land, and she had to cause the whole neighborhood a fucking tragedy over it. In my opinion, it's greed, and she wanted it. Her and Andy. I don't know.
morning, later on, whatever, many times over.
So basically, that's a drug corridor. Is that what you're saying?
Hey, Purple.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so people go up there to cop dope.
Yes, or they, you know, and then there's the other places. I don't know where they're all at, but they, you know, they all intermingle, and you know how that kind of works, I guess. But
well, yeah, I mean, there's there's a lot of dynamics always, right? There's a lot of moving parts. So
yes.
Back to Summer for a minute. So when you got to the house, and did you go into the house at any time?
Well, yeah, I went in the house, out of the house. I mean, we was turning everything, looking everywhere. You know, we didn't know what to do, and the police started pulling up, and this and that. And, yeah.
And where did you search?
Pretty much everywhere, in the sheds, the shed right there by the house, all the sheds, everything. You know, I look everywhere. Mostly I screamed to the top of my lungs. I was like kid for Summer, you know, and hoping that she was just lost and around there close somewhere.
Right. And then what about in her bedroom and stuff? Did you look down there?
Well, yeah. I mean, Candace went down there too, and she looked under everywhere, under everything, you know.
Right.
She told me, you know.
Right, but that was different.
So is that Don admitting he didn't really look? Because he says, oh yeah, so nonchalantly. And then he says, well, Candace looked everywhere. That's what she told me. She looked. Odd, in my opinion.
Right, did you?
Yeah, but I did, yeah. I looked everywhere also, yes.
And what about the door?
You know, I don't remember. No, I do know the boys, we cuss them because they just leave it wide open all the time.
Right.
You know, I'm like, man, you got to keep that locked or shut, and they just don't listen.
Right.
You know?
Could Summer open that door?
Probably so. Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
How many times you can see her open it if you know?
I don't know, but she's pretty intelligent for her age. She's real intelligent, very smart. very agile.
Yeah, Miss Robin said that too.
Yeah, she loves to run. I could be running my lawnmower and she would just run behind me constantly the whole way, nonstop. The boys would be riding their little motorcycles and she'd be right behind them all the way, over and over around the house.
Do I think it's a possibility there could have been an accident with Summer? Absolutely. I think that it's another lane. It's another possibility. As you guys know, hey, Sin, I miss you. You're going to have to text me. Everybody has my number. I'll give it to you right here, 412-927-8389. I can't do the Facebook unless it's on Earl's, and I'm trying to just keep that to important shit so he don't get kicked off. But the motorcycles, Dawn mentions that a lot. Not only does Dawn mention it, but Fred and Laura mentions the boys riding. You deactivated weeks ago like you do. Yeah. Well, if you want to chat, we could still go have coffee, girl. I've been meaning to try to reach out to you somehow. We need to go do that coffee we've been planning for years. She's a local, not local, but she lives actually out near the area where some people are from that I report on. But I don't think Cynical has anything to do with it. She cool as fuck. And I'm one of my locals that support me here. And I support Cynical. She's amazing. Thank you. Text me. We'll go have that. Baby girl turned 3 today. Happy birthday. Yay. I'm so happy. Give her a hug for me. All right. So, anyways, the motorcycles. Is it a possibility other people report on the kids being out with the motorcycles a lot, right? So it is a possibility. There's a guide wire knocked down over by the Thompsons on the telephone pole. However, I feel that the players like Fred and Ellie and the whole arrests and the Jason Arnold and the just all of the crazy shit, the marathon, the billboards, for me, it takes the accident theory away. I feel like it was something that Jody Sue might have tried to push because Jody says, Candace said to the oldest boy, what did you do? What did you do? We never hear Candace say that she said that. Why wouldn't anybody elaborate on that? And how do we know that that's true? And that's really what Jody heard. She also claims, which is something fishy to me, that as Candace was coming down the hill, Dawn's in the car and Jody Sue saying it was an accident. It was an accident. I didn't tell you I heard a scream or something, but what was an accident? That's what Jody says in her original shit, right? I heard a scream. It was an accident. I don't understand that, Jody. These are the things that I have questions about for you. I really want to know, did you see something? I'm not accusing you of anything, but if there was an accident, it had to have been something you've seen, just based off of your behaviors and the things you're saying. Because why, when Candace is coming down the hill, would you say, I'm sorry, to Dawn? Is Dawn saying, you mean somebody took my baby girl? Why would the first thought go to she was kidnapped while you're standing at the vehicle? But then when Dawn comes in, Andy's behind him, and you're standing right there. That's just things that are curious to me. I always feel like something happened, accidental, neglectful, cover-up, COS, adult scare. I mean, it could be. And maybe all the other shit is just a whole lot of money laundering in a way for YouTubers to make money. But it really concerns me that Fred knew. Man, the We Can Bring You Hope people from here are cynical. It bothers me. And you know how much research I put into that. that really, their connection and them coming down to Rogersville and being so involved in the funny shit they did, it bothers the fuck out of me. It just makes me feel like there's something more to this than just an accidental theory. And that's just my opinion. Like I always state, everybody's, allowed to their own opinions. But when you go back and listen to all of this and put it together, we'll try to put it together the best we can, our own thoughts. Like I said, we all form our own opinions. This is just what I hear. You know what I mean? And when you add the players and the people that have been involved, you got your Trixie or whoever it is with Chase that was texting me from an 814 number. That's fucking weird to me. There's another woman I found. I don't know much about her. She's an elderly lady. She doesn't live in Tennessee. She actually lives, I think, in one of the Carolinas, but she has the last name Reese. I knew a Reese when I was younger, growing up, from my area. That's something that has me concerned. Are they connected? No, I don't know. But we spoke about a couple lives ago, my friend Chester. In the area he traveled, and he's somebody who's directly connected family wise to the people that I found directly connected to the We Can Bring You Hope people. And to me, his death is extremely suspicious, and I've spoken about it a million times. I don't know if there's truth to it, but I do believe my friend before he passed away, and I do know that there was something suspicious surrounding the circumstances of his death and that travel that he took down, maybe even to Tennessee, and I didn't know about it. He was gone for quite some time. And when he called me the two times, he was in Virginia and Kentucky, which a lot of creators have inserted themselves from them two areas here. And you got the Ernie Shell connection. So I don't know who Chester knew, but to me, he connects to the We Can Bring You Hope people, and it's something I've always been fucking very suspicious of. I've told the story just 2 lives ago, and I'm not going to do it every time I go live. Grandbaby's trying to get in the room. I'm going to let this play. I'll be right back. Or no, that might be my cat. That's the cat. I'm going to let this play while I let her in. But y'all get the picture. Just go back and watch some of my newest previous lives and go back like 8 months to a year ago and look. And then go back to like 5-6 months ago, starting in February, and see all the crazy shit that was going on with me and my family members who also know these people. Try to put it together because it's hard, and I don't want to put my life and my children's life on the line, and I don't know exactly who connects to what. I just know that there are people that I know in my own personal life that are connected to people that were playing fuck shit. In my opinion, I'm speculating. When everything comes out, we'll find out. But with the We Can Bring You Hope people, for me, it brings all of this full circle, because in my mind, I can see, knowing the people, where they all connect, but I don't know who's who. And there's a lot of people that I love that connect to them, and I don't want to come out here and just dox my whole life. I have to be careful. However, the right people have the information to the We Can Bring You Hope people, and they will figure out who's connected where. And I showed you in my last live that I actually did have the human trafficking police here, and I've given you much proof about me talking about this other guy who's missing in my area, who also connects to the We Can Bring You Hope people, in my opinion, based off the things I've been told from people in my neighborhood that also are related to them, that work at establishments in my neighborhood, that maybe didn't realize who they were talking to. But it's just a lot of concern for me, in my opinion. It's speculation, but it's concern, and the right people have the information.
On the other side of the hill, and I knew, like I say, I knew my heart just sank right there. I just knew she was gone.
What brought you to that place first and not to the house?
Well, I figured they was looking all over the house, and I was thinking, well, they probably ain't been out buying property yet or anything, so that's what made me drive down there first.
Okay. And then, did you go into that shed?
You know what, Cynical? I love you, and I feel like I'm disagreeing with you so much tonight, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do something, and I feel it's even disrespecting my own child. I'm about to show you all a picture of a dead baby. I have one. The hospital gave it to me when my child passed away. I'm not going to show it to you directly on the computer, however, I'll show it to you from my phone. And I'm going to show you the difference. Summer was not dead in that picture. That's not my opinion. But we could get into this just because I'm going to show you what a dead child looks like. So this is, let me figure out albums, menu. I can figure out how to get to my gallery, downloads. This is a warning. Damn it, I can't find it. Just give me a minute here. Earl, I might have to send it to you if you're watching in order to show this. But I'm going to show you guys the difference between that picture of Summer and a picture of an actual deceased baby. I think it's important that somebody do this because I'm about sick of the rumors. Actually, the picture I want to show you all because it shows fingers. Yeah, all right, let's do that. I'm going to take a snippet of my son's fingers. That's what I'm going to do because I have an image that shows his fingers, and I'm going to compare it to Summer's fingers for you. And I want you to go look at it because what I'm telling you is that Summer was alive in that image of her on the milk jugs. That's my opinion. When children die, I'm not going to show my son. I don't even know that I want to look at it. But when children pass away or when anybody passes away, under their lips wrinkle. Right here. Summer didn't have that. You get what you call rigor mortis. Summer, it don't just happen in your hands. It happens in their face. So what I'm saying to you is, in my opinion, Summer was completely alive in that image of her with the milk. She doesn't look like the images of my child who was passed away. Of course, he was a newborn. It was 26 minutes after birth. But I assume anybody who passes away has that same look, as well as I was around when my husband's father passed away. It was the first death I ever got to watch happen. Even though my son, I wasn't in the room when my son, well, I was in the room. I was drugged and sleeping when my son passed away. However, I was there as my father-in-law passed away. And it's not, the image of Summer is not what people look like when somebody passes away. Please do your own Google research and look, compare it to a deceased person. That's not, in my opinion, Summer is completely alive. in the milk jug video. It's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Yes, purple flower. They do. She was a dirty little girl. She had dirt under her fingernails. My grandson is uncontrollable. He gets like that every day. She had dirt under her fingernails from playing outside and playing hard and being in the lake and probably picking up mud or whatever. They were picking flowers, smelling flowers. To make the assumption that she was unalived in that video, that's something that the police have to do. That's not up to us. My grandson's down there being wild right now. You can hear him screaming. But let's get back to this. Actually, I'm going to stop this here. We listened to not much of it, 13 minutes. But we have an hour and 15 minutes left. We'll continue that tomorrow. I'm going to move on to the share. I believe I cut this last night. And we're going to start right from where we left off last night. And I'm sorry about that. I'm not going to show the picture of my son, but I thought about it. Like, I want you guys to see the comparison. In my opinion, Summer was completely alive in that image in the back of the car. However, somebody might say it's different, but based on what I've seen after death, that's not death. She had color. You turn completely blue and purple. Your lips turn a different color. You get crinkled above and below your lips. Your fingernail beds right here, all the way halfway through, completely purple. That's just not what I see in the images with Summer. I see a sleepy child.
I do have your Cash App link in my description.
Okay.
You know, if everyone else is sharing,
I
their
just made
links, I
that.
was like, yeah, you did. Yeah, but I asked you to.
It started over. Do you guys want to just start it over, or do you want me to skip through? It's going to take a while and waste time. I don't think we got very far into it. So why don't I just listen quietly for a little bit? We went over it. It'll refresh our memories, and then I'll stay on a little longer. I have seen both babies look different than some. Yeah, there's a change. But there's, like, I've seen an elderly man and a baby, and they're still the same crinkle. The nail beds still turn. You still lose oxygen. And I also have heart failure. There's been times I can't breathe, and I can even see it. Like, they tell you, press on your, to check. I have this little thing. And anybody who goes into the hospital, usually for anything, they put one of these ET things on your finger, right? It's a pulse ox, a blood oxygen level reader. So when this fucking thing needs batteries, I think. When my oxygen goes down below 60, I can see the color change. I have labored breathing, and I have to go to the hospital. 50's really bad. Mine's gone down into the 40s, which is scary. But my son, who's a 2-time heart transplant, I got 98, guys. Woo woo. Give me a high five. That's good. Okay. Anyways, but you could see it change. Like, I'm a mama of a heart transplant kid too. If I have any nurses in here, I'd love to hear your opinion on it. I just don't see rigor mortis in Summer. And that's the first sign, and it happens within like 30 seconds of somebody's death. It's not something that takes a long time to hit in. Rigor mortis is like an instant. It's a stiffness. And I just don't see that in Summer. Your muscles all stiff up. and you can see the difference. But okay, for real, we're just gonna listen to the whole voices behind the wall. It's only an hour and 38 minutes. I'll cut it like I did the last one.
So before
Yeah.
the haters, they can say whatever. But if we've got almost everybody else up here sharing their links, go back to how you met Don, how that all started.
That would have been back in 2005, October, somewhere up in there, December of 05. Hurricane Katrina hit in October, and I moved up here for a few months. And I was working for Tucker Drywall as a subcontractor. Me and Don and many other ones worked side by side on all these units. And that's how I met Don. And we all did drugs, so he's a big cokehead back then. But drunk, and he's still with Candace. He's driving an old blue Ford truck.
Okay.
It actually broke down at his house. It was still there. I seen it recently when summer was. Damn, is that your old Ford truck, Don? He's like, yeah. He said, me and Candace did the motor right there in the driveway. Okay. So it was still broke down. Big junkyard is all it was.
So back in 2005, when you met him, for sure, that summer wasn't even a thought then.
No, ma'am. No, he had his
So-
oldest son, I believe.
We don't have to. Yeah, we don't have to mention their names.
Jody,
We try to
Jody.
leave them. Yeah, no, we don't have to mention their names. So you were kind of able to work with him. You worked with him for many years then before this happened.
No. Actually, in 05, I only stayed up here about maybe 8 months. And I went back after Katrina rebuilt. Well, I was from Louisiana. So my area had the water over the house.
Hey,
There was a lot of
Dudley,
work.
Don, hold
No,
on.
for
no,
him
we're
to-
g-
for him
I
to
know,
say,
but let's.
Okay.
I know.
Well,
I want you to.
no, it
I
makes
want-
me mad for him to sit there and lie and say I met.
Makes you
I worked
mad.
him.
No,
Yeah,
I
because
know.
I worked with you the first day I met you. Richard Tucker brought you to my job, and I worked with you till 11 o'clock, dude, and said I'm going home. I can't work with you. I got to figure this out. The second day, I worked with you till 11 o'clock and said I can't work with you no more. I never done no cocaine with you, dude. Don't be fucking lying.
I never said you did cocaine with me. I said we all did drugs and you had a cocaine problem.
Not me.
That
I
was
didn't
what
do
you
no
said,
drugs.
and you was a drunk.
I don't even know you. I don't even
Dude.
know you. Didn't even know you.
Oh man, come on, bro. Look at
I
your
didn't
rap
even
sheet,
hang
bro.
with you. Don't know you. Never said anything like that to you. And I wasn't
Okay,
doing
sorry.
cocaine. You might have been, but I wasn't.
Did you,
Dude, you said
how
And
long,
you need to take
Donnie? How long, or Donald? How long?
that was
How long have you guys worked
Yeah.
together? Let's.
like I said in 2005. I worked.
I wanted
I have
no
to,
part of this problem.
Yeah, a little
and
bit,
Don
Don.
gave me
I don't know what to do
Don
about
threw a
it.
lot of heat on me for whatever reason, but he didn't pay me my
I
money.
didn't.
So no, you didn't.
That's
You ripped me off.
another
And then
lie.
you
That's
accused
another
me.
lie.
Dude, you
That's
are a
another
lie.
lie.
You're a fucking
Hold
joke.
on.
You know
Hold
what
on.
else?
I paid you every dime I owed you.
Dude, I wish I could get in front of you. Because if I'd have known you
Yeah, I
for the
wish
way
so
you are,
too.
I
I
promise
wish so
you, I'll come
too.
over.
No, Don, don't
What's up?
say anything. Don't say that. Let's. You said Don was acting funny on June 16th, like the day after June 15th.
Oh, the day I got, the day.
So you
I think
guys
that
were
was like the
working
day I got
again
fired.
that day together, right?
No.
So he
We
was
was
at work.
We was working
Don was
together,
at work.
dude, for like a month,
Can you?
almost 2 months.
Don was working a lot though, right? He was always at work. Can you
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
say to that? Okay, see.
First time
Don
I
works
met
a
him,
lot.
he told me he had to stay at work till almost 8, 9 o'clock at night because DSS was coming to his house and he couldn't be there. I said,
Because
what?
of what? Because of who was
Come
coming to
on,
my
Don,
house?
bro.
Who? I missed that. What'd you
DSS?
say? Assess.
No.
See, or CPS. He said CPS
D-
was coming to your house.
D-
or DCS.
DSS?
DSS.
DCS.
Yeah.
DCS.
Tennessee Child Services, I guess.
Yeah. That's what you told me, Don. I mean,
Well,
you know.
okay, I might have said that. Yeah, I might not wanted to talk to them or whatever. I don't know. Somebody
Would
called
anybody?
somebody called DCS on me saying that I was giving my kids loaded guns to play with, of all things.
Oh, Jesus.
Remember, I asked you guys to listen for that? I'm still making coffee. My concern is the satellite picture. Found on maps, her head and shoulders were in the same position. I've seen satellite pictures, but those were of a heat. Hold on one sec. Just put it over there, honey. Thank you. I love you. The satellite images I seen were of people leaving the hill that Sky News reported on. They had satellite imagery of a heat thing of 3 people leaving the hill in a truck or something. That's what I'm going to share tomorrow. I got to write it down. Don't let me forget. Somebody please go into my comment section at some point tomorrow if you remember and remind me to pull up those images TT sent me. Okay. I'll try to remember after this to add it to wherever we leave off.
Wow, I didn't hear that one.
I thought
Well,
it said
that
you
was-
smoking weed with him.
No, that was our first case, and that was dropped. That case was dropped June 14th, the day before Summer come up missing. They come up
Okay.
to my house. They brought our CPS.
Who
worker
came up to
brought
your house?
The welfare come to
Oh.
my house with a supervisor. She brought her supervisor with her. My kids were running around with their little motorcycles. It was a beautiful day. Everything seemed really nice, you know. And the very next day is when Summer come up missing.
Blame
Which
me.
is odd.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming you
fired
for it.
me. You did blame me, bro. I mean,
Man,
your daughter looked.
I was looking at everybody. Yeah, you was my
That's
number
true.
one
You
suspect.
blamed me hard, bro.
I
You
was
blamed me
your-
hard. You
you-
said I was
yeah.
the main suspect. You
I
said
was. You was because you was
you
so.
were just trying to.
Bro, you was so
No,
freaking mad at me. You
Dudley,
fucking
if
had
you
a hate for me.
could
I
you
was mad at you
understand
because
that?
you didn't pay me my money for one.
That's not true.
I-
That's not true. You might have
Give
thought
me
that
free-
in your head. I
Dude,
split the money.
I'm not
in
gonna
half.
argue with you, bro.
I'm not gonna
argue with you. I'm not here
But
for
I
that,
was-
bro. That shit's over with.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Can I ask a question, Dudley? If you felt like
Yes,
you
ma'am.
were paid fairly, I'll put it like that. Do you think that you would have any issues with Don Wells right now? If you felt you were paid fairly?
Yeah, I'd have issues. I'd have a lot of
Okay.
issues. Absolutely. He was one of those multi personality type persons. He tell you to do something, you do what he asks you to do, and you turn around and yell at you for doing it. I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss, but he'd do that shit to me, fuck with my head all day. Drive me crazy, make me go home and make my wife go crazy because I was talking about him.
Killer,
It was
can you
just-
ask that question so I can ask it? I forget what it was. Sorry,
Did
I
I
can't pull it up.
answer it wrong?
No. Well, no, you can only answer what you can answer.
Yeah,
but so my other question then is, can you also kind of see where Don and Candace would have everybody on their suspect list? Like if it was one of your children, wouldn't you wouldn't Don be at the top of your list? Like, you know what I mean? Like, could you understand everyone in his world? Like I can vouch for that. He can vouch for that. Don has pinpointed, Candace has pinpointed to everybody, not just you.
I won't blame anybody for something I have no proof of. You know, he had no proof of me, but he blamed me because he wanted to fire me the day before when he threw all that shit on the wall and said I did it. Remember that shit, Don? You bringing back some good memories now.
Man, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, I know that's right.
Threw a bunch of stuff like that.
Was
You
there a
can't tell the
gunfight with BB
Let me
guns
ask-
on the 14th? Was
let
there
me
a
ask you,
BB gun fight?
Can I ask Dudley a question?
Yeah, of course.
Was you high on meth?
I stepped away. I'm sorry. I want to, I'm afraid to send them out because Ellie has them and they are good. It's on video before it was taken of the map. Well, at least Ellie has them. I can't comment on something I haven't seen, Danny. I apologize. Okay, so I want to go a few minutes back. Something I want to point out: Dudley's obsession. He had me going crazy. Every time I went home, I was driving my wife crazy. So what? You and your wife were fighting over your job with Dawn? Why would you take that? Why not just quit and go get another job?
You can answer,
Yeah,
but so my other question then is, can you also kind of see where Don and Candace would have everybody on their suspect list? Like if it was one of your children, wouldn't you kind of wouldn't Don be at the top of your list? Like, you know what I mean? Like, could you understand everyone in his world? Like I can vouch for that. He can vouch for that. Don has pinpointed, Candace has pinpointed to everybody, not just you.
I won't blame anybody for something I have no proof of. You know,
I
he had no proof of me, but he blamed me because he wanted to fire me the day before when he threw all that shit on the wall.
I'm not going to go back again, but this is another thing I want to point out. I didn't go back far enough. Per Gordon saying that Dawn wrote scriptures. That's what Dudley reported. This is now the second interview, I think. I don't know if it was in the other one too. Or maybe we're just re-going over it, but it's the same. There's no scripture mentioned here. It's just mud on the wall.
Said I did it. Remember that shit, Don? You bringing back some good memories now.
Man, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, I know that.
Speaking of Per Gordon, where the fuck she been?
That's right.
Threw a bunch of stuff like that.
Was there a gunfight with BB guns on the 14th? Was there a BB gun fight?
Can I ask Dudley a question?
Yeah, of course.
Was you high on meth on the day you was fired?
The day I was fired? No.
Yeah, right. Okay.
No, the day I was fired, I was fucked off because you fired me for something you did after I cleaned the house out. You trashed it. You pulled some child shit. What, you forgot? What about that weekend? You were supposed to come to work with me, and I went there and did all that, put, 5 buckets of mud on that weekend, that one day, and you didn't even go in Sunday, and then Summer's up missing, and you're sitting on the tub looking dumbfounded as hell like you lost your best friend. What really happened, Don?
Yeah.
Did you bury her in the damn wall in that house?
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm wondering.
Who was reporting on that? Anybody remember? Hey, Linda, where you at? What did you smell in the dumpster? Did your story change? Where did that originally come from? That's some sick shit to say. Don't you think that would be noticeable? It's fucking drywall. That's the stupidest shit. I'm so tired of hearing dumb shit.
But that was private property. I don't know.
I'm not going to say
he made me
I'm not going to sit here and accuse you like that.
Wow, you did enough accusing me. I'm just finally getting to talk to you.
Yeah, and I'm trying to talk to you. Well, you ain't my partner, but I know you was high on meth. I know you was. You just won't admit it. No, I don't do that stuff.
I ain't gonna. Whatever, dude.
I don't do meth. I don't do meth.
You and your old lady were doing it with the kid that sort of played with the hot rails at your house.
Wow.
Come on, Don.
Wow.
Yeah,
hold on. No, hold on. Wait, Donnie. Wait, hold on. Hey, so Dudley, if you saw them doing that with children around, did you report that?
Did meth, you wouldn't be as fat as
you are. Really? Did you report it?
Did you report that? Because one thing Donald has always told me,
I told them that. Yes, I did. I told
TBI.
Right, but after or did you report it when you saw it happen?
I only seen it 2 days before that happened. It was that Friday I picked up my check. That's when I saw it. My wife said, "Don't never bring me there again."
Dudley. Hold on. No, Donnie, hold on. Dudley, you're saying you saw this happen. You witnessed this happen, right?
I witnessed the plate and the dope on the plate.
Okay, but what did you do that day? Did you call Child Protective Services that day?
No, I did not. No, I did not. No.
Why? If you saw them do that, why did you not call Child Protective Services?
The kids wasn't sitting there by the plate. They were watching their TVs, but the plate was out
having
visible.
a plate at all in the house when they are parents of children. Don't you think you would have called
them? I should have called them. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I was messed up too. I was dealing with
Okay.
Don every day.
That's a good excuse.
90 mile an hour every way you went.
Well, you know what? When you
I
can drive
guess
90
I
mile
guess
an
you're on
hour,
Somas if you're doing that.
yeah. Hey, if I can get away with doing 90 mile an hour on them back roads and get to work faster, I'm gonna do it.
You're gonna try to lose me every time.
I will never get in a car with Don driving.
No, indeed not. Danger zone.
People critique everything. I just had this conversation with my son yesterday. There's a man behind me that has a trailer for sale. That's funny. They're going over this. I think I did put a red thing. I'm going to skip ahead and go look and see if I put a red thing where we ended last night. But let me throw a little bit of my real life in here. There's a man that lives behind me. He has a trailer his daughter bought, but she bought it from somebody she knows. She knows that person bought it. They lost their title. So there's no title for the trailer, right? So the guy selling the trailer for $300, my son tells me that his friend who rents my garage wants to buy it. And I'm like, oh, fuck no. You know, I want that trailer because I eventually, hopefully, plan on selling my house and I want to buy some land up by where they do these concerts. And I want to do some things. I just have some dreams and goals. You know, I don't know if it'll ever come true, but I want this fucking trailer because even if not, it's going to be a fucking she shed and it's going to stay stationary and stay in my yard and I'm going to use it. You might see an office change, right? So my son's telling me it don't have a title. You can't transfer it. You can't take this trailer nowhere. And I'm like, dude, what we're going to do is we're going to take the license plate off your motherfucking car, put it on the trailer and transfer it wherever we have. It's in the fucking future. Like, not everybody on this earth is fucking perfect, right? We all do little white things we shouldn't be doing. However, when it comes to a missing child, little lies and things like that, that's a different story. So in my opinion, these are like bold statements that Dudley's making. We need to like really go back and listen to like, oh, hey. I'm baffled by some of the things people in this case have said. Yeah, she was live for 2 hours.
I would.
Okay, so was there a BB gun fight on June 14th?
Maybe a finishing gun nail fight.
What?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
16
sorry.
gauge, 18 gauge finishing gun.
Hold on. I hear you, Candace. Hold on.
I think she's got to subscribe.
Can you text me the link, please?
Oh, this is crazy. You see this, bub? Are you watching?
Good. Subscribe to her channel.
No, she doesn't have to. Wait. I took subscriber mode off. She doesn't have to subscribe.
Okay, she took subscriber mode off.
Can you?
This is wild.
Okay, so we kind of got off the rails here a little bit.
She shouldn't be.
Dudley, could you tell me about your day on June 15th? Like
that was the day I got fired.
No, you got fired.
Was that a Monday?
No, you got
Was
fired
that a
on
Monday?
the 14th. The 14th, you got fired.
Okay, you got to remind me. I smoke a lot of weed, so please.
Okay, so
so this is the day Summer went missing. Tell me.
Tuesday was the day she came up missing, right? Monday was the day I got fired.
Right. Something like that.
Yeah, I got you.
So tell me about
that day
Tuesday.
I think this is where we left off last night. So we're going to skip ahead. We went over all that. For my thoughts on all of that, please go to last night's live. It was a really good live. We also shared Killer's video, which went along with this a little bit. Okay.
You said Don was acting funny on June 16th, like the day after June 15th?
Oh, the day I got, the day.
So you guys were working again that day together, right?
No.
So he was at work.
We was working together, dude, for like a month.
Can you?
Almost 2 months.
Don was working a lot though, right? He was always at work. Can you?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Say to that. Okay. See.
First time I met him, He told me he had to stay at work till almost 8, 9 o'clock at night because DSS was coming to his house and he couldn't be there. I said,
Because
"What?
of what? Because of who was
Come
coming to
on,
my house?
Don, bro."
So he's saying 2 months prior to June, which would have been April, somewhere between April and May, DSS was coming to his home. That the first day he worked with Dawn, 2 months prior.
Who? I missed that. What'd you
DSS?
say? Assess.
No.
See, or CPS. He said CPS was
D-
coming to your house. Or
D-
DCS.
DSS?
DSS?
DCS.
DCS.
Yeah. Tennessee Child Services, I guess.
Yeah. That's what you told me, Don. I mean, I'm.
Well,
you
okay,
know.
I might have said that. Yeah, I might not wanted to talk to him or whatever. I don't know. Somebody
Would
called
anybody?
somebody called DCS on me saying that I was giving my kids loaded guns to play with, of all things.
Oh Jesus!
Wow, I didn't hear that one.
I thought
Well,
it said
that
you
was-
smoking weed with him.
No, that was our first case, and that was dropped. That case was dropped June 14th, the day before Summer come up missing. They come up
Okay.
to my house. They brought our CPS.
Who
worker
came up to
brought
your house?
The welfare come to
Oh.
my house with a supervisor. She brought her supervisor with her. My kids were running around with their little motorcycles. It was a beautiful day. Everything seemed really nice, you know. And the very next day is when Summer come up missing,
Blame
which
me.
is odd.
Yeah.
I'm not blaming you
fired
for it.
me. You did blame me, bro. I mean, your
Man,
daughter looked.
I was looking at everybody. Yeah, you was my
That's
number
true.
one
You
suspect.
blamed me hard, bro.
I
You
was
blamed me hard. You said I was the main suspect. You said
You was because you was
you were
so
just trying to.
bro, you was so
No,
freaking mad at me. You
Dudley,
fucking
if
had
you
a
could,
hate for me.
could
I
you
was mad at you
understand
because
that?
you didn't pay me my money for one.
That's not true. That's not true. You might have thought
me
that in
free-
your head. I
Dude,
split the money.
I'm not
in
gonna
half.
argue with you, bro.
I'm not gonna argue
with you. I'm not here
But
for
I
that,
was
bro. That shit's over with.
okay.
No.
Okay. Can I ask a question, Dudley? If you felt like
Yes,
you
ma'am.
were paid fairly, I'll put it like that. Do you think that you would have any issues with Don Wells right now? If you felt you were paid fairly?
Yeah, I've had issues. I have a lot of
Okay.
issues. Absolutely. He was one of those multi personality type persons. And you tell you to do something, you do what he asks you to do, and you turn around and yell at you for doing it. I'm like, what the fuck? Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss, but he'd do that shit to me, fuck with my head all day. Drive me crazy, make me go home and make my wife go crazy because I was talking about him.
Killer, can you ask that question so I can ask it? I forget what it was. Sorry, I can't pull it up.
Answer it wrong.
No. Well, no, you can only answer what you can answer.
Yeah,
but so my other question then is, can you also kind of see where Don and Candace would have everybody on their suspect list? Like if it was one of your children, wouldn't you wouldn't Don be at the top of your list? Like, you know what I mean? Like, could you understand everyone in his world? Like I can vouch for that. He can vouch for that. Don has pinpointed, Candace has pinpointed to everybody, not just you.
I won't blame anybody for something I have no proof of. You know, he had no proof of me, but he blamed me because he wanted to fire me the day before when he threw all that shit on the wall and said I did it. Remember that shit, Don? You bringing back some good memories now.
Man, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, I know that's right.
Threw a bunch of stuff like that.
Was there a gunfight with BB guns on the 14th? Was there a BB gun fight?
Can I ask Dudley a question?
Yeah, of course.
Was you high on meth on the day you was fired?
The day I was fired? No.
Yeah, right. Okay.
No, the day I was fired, I was fucked off because you fired me for something you did after I cleaned the house out. You trashed it. You pulled some child shit. What, you forgot? What about that weekend? You were supposed to come to work with me, and I went there and did all that, put, 5 buckets of mud on that weekend, that one day, and you didn't even go in Sunday, and then Summer's up missing, and you're sitting on the tub looking dumbfounded as hell like you lost your best friend. What really happened, Don?
Yeah.
Did you bury her in the damn wall in that house?
Wow. Okay.
Is this the same clip playing over and over? What in the fuck did I do here? Hold on, let's see. I feel like we've gone over this 3 or 4 motherfucking times. Why is it doing that? My damn Canva. I'm trying to roll one. If not, I'll just pull the whole damn thing up. We're going to be here all damn night. Let's just listen a little while longer and see if this is just what played somewhere else. I don't know. But anyways, oh, come on now. Don knew exactly what he done, so I call BS. Yeah, they were fighting. They didn't get along. They both act like two alpha men on voices. The whole interview is nothing but them screaming. They start screaming at each other. I hope I didn't mess this up and put a small clip on a bigger. Let me go see what's going on here. No, it looks like it switches up. I must have just had it in another part. I apologize. Let's hope it doesn't do that again. It's like it's on a damn loop. If Summer would have been put in a wall, yeah, that's what I'm saying. They would have noticed it. You would have seen evidence of that. And then it changed from the wall to the dumpster, according to Linda, which actually I heard the dumpster first. So, and that was from B.A. Young, who lives in Australia, who goes by, I think, a couple different names on here too. But if you remember the story correctly, I was supposed to start my YouTube with her. It was prior to my YouTube. I was going to use my machine. I'm just going to roll this shit. But she like dicked me off to make a channel with Linda, and I don't think they ever made a channel together. However, that's what started me knowing things that Linda didn't know that I knew. And when they came out with the 13-hour call, I went into a comment section and told Linda that that was what I knew. And we started messaging back and forth. I can't remember the exact timeline, but that's what caused all of my lawsuits. Was that little snippet right there. That's when Linda and I became enemies, and we will continue to be enemies. Linda, do you hear me? You wait, honey. One day I'm going to have the money. Hopefully it's within the statute of limitations. Because when I do, I promise you I plan on suing the fucking motherfucker out of your life. Maybe your attorney too. I mean, I'm speculating that might be what I do. If shit turns out the way I think it's going to at the end of this. But like I said, I have no proof. I only have my own opinions. And it's my opinion you belong in prison. But let's see if this is on a loop or what the hell is going on with my shit here.
I don't know. I'm trying to.
If it is, we'll come back to it tomorrow. There's no way I can forget where we left off. And I'll put the whole video out and we'll just go look at something else.
I'm wondering.
But
That was private property.
I
don't know.
I'm not going to say
He made me
I'm
think.
not going to sit
He
here and
accuses
accuse
me.
you like that.
Wow, you did enough accusing me. I'm just
I know,
finally
but-
getting to talk
and
to
you-
you,
Yeah, and I'm trying to talk
partner.
to you. Well, you ain't my partner, but I know you was high on meth. I know
Dude,
you
were
was.
high
You
on
just won't
meth.
admit it. No,
I
I don't
did
do that
meth.
stuff.
I ain't gonna.
I don't.
Whatever, dude.
I don't do
please.
meth. I don't do
Dude,
meth.
you and your old lady were
Also-
doing it with the kid that sort of played with the hot rails at your
Really?
house.
Wow.
Come on, Don.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hold
bro. Why
on,
you
hold
lying?
on.
this?
No, hold
Y'all
on.
hearing
Wait,
this?
Donnie. Wait, hold on. Hey, so Dudley, if you saw them doing that with children around, did you report that?
meth, you wouldn't be as fat as
Yeah, really. Did you report it?
Did you
Dudley?
report that? Because one thing
Wow.
Donald has
I-
always told me, if I ever
I told him that. Yes, I did.
I messed that video up. We're going to take that off and relook at it tomorrow. I so freaking apologize. Let me see. Hold on. Yep, it's just starting over. Let me fix that. Let's go find something else to watch that may correlate with this. That's funny. I really do apologize. What a fucked up live. Okay. I guess at least we all got it. Okay, so we could listen to what is this? Scrub-a-dub-dubly. Dudley. Did I name it that? Oh, Per Gordon of America. Here's something with Per Gordon. We already listened to this whole thing twice. So let's take this and see what this is. I have no clue what we're about to listen to, but it has something to do with Dudley. Oh, it's Benny and Per Gordon, maybe. Okay, hold on.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. We will allow a few people to fill into the chat here. I hope everyone is doing well this evening.
Since we're watching Benny, why not?
Tonight, we're going to be talking about Mr. Dudley. I think that this ought to be able. Tonight, we're going to be talking to give us a fair wealth of information, and it also is going to give Mr. Wells an opportunity to retort, and I think that that's there's power in giving him a voice. So. We do have Mr. Wells is in the backstage right now. I am going to go ahead and Miss Prayer Garden, if you can go ahead and grab that.
Funny being Per Gordon's now Dudley's biggest ally, right?
Did you grab that, Miss Prayer Garden there? Let me drop it one more time. I don't know how fast the chat thing is going there. So hold on one second. Let's go ahead and
let's speed this up a little bit. Oh, till we get to the point, at least.
Hello, Miss Candace. Hello. Okay, there you go, Miss Sissy. I pinned the link in the chat in the top there. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring Don up really quick. And there's Miss Sissy right there. How you doing, Miss Sissy? Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Everything sounds good. So tonight we have a special co-host in Miss Prayer Garden. She's well versed in the topic this evening, and by popular demand, Mr. Wells asked for her to be present. So we also will have Miss Penny from True Crime Commentary. She'll be stopping by as well to ask a few questions and see what we got going. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring Mr. Wells on.
Hey,
how you doing, Donnie?
How y'all doing?
How are you, sir?
Hanging in there, just praying for my daughter, buddy.
I understand. I hate that we have to see each other.
So this puts the timeline of December 2021.
Other again under these circumstances, but I guess it is what it is. Sissy is here with me.
How you doing, Donald?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, just trying to do everything the best I can,
I understand. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess let's just go ahead and put the situation out there. We have Don has an issue with some of the things that were stated by Mr. Dudley, and Miss Prayer Garden and himself would like to iron that out and bring some clarity to it. So you guys have the floor.
Okay, sounds great. I didn't really want to come to all this and everything like that, but since he wants to put a bunch of lies out there, I just want to bring the truth out there. That's all I'm going to tell is 100% truth. Mr. Dudley, he started working with us about 7 years ago. He went through all the ranks, all the crews, everything, and
they are.
I thought about this. Yesterday we spoke about how Don said he only worked with Dudley 7 years ago, and that's when he fired Dudley and they didn't get along. However, he also said, and I was wrong. I would have been wrong because Josie was 14 at the time of Summer's disappearance. So what Dudley told us is that Candace and Dawn lived there prior to Waylon and what's the other one, Wyatt, being born. Because Dawn had stated that means that Candace lived there once before with Dawn, moved away to Arkansas, and came back. Something in their timeline is wrong because in 2005, which would have been how many years ago? Katrina, like I'm trying to put this in my mind. They're changing the timeline. In two different interviews, it's 2005, and then in a few other interviews, it changes to 7 years prior to Summer going missing. When in reality, we found out last night it was like years prior to that. They've known each other a lot longer than they came out here and led people to believe, is all I'm saying, and it's provable. Their story changed, both Dudley and Dawn, and I find that strange.
All pretty much fired him. He was put with me for a short time.
How many crews, Don?
And I don't know how many crews or what.
Many?
Many. Yes,
Okay.
many. You know, and the first time I met him, I worked with him up to 11 o'clock, and I was like, and I never go home early, but I went home early that day.
Okay.
The next following day, by 11 o'clock, I told him, man, I can't work with you, dude. And so I told him, you go do that apartment, and I'll go my way. You go your way, you'll go my way. And then I don't know what all happened after that, but he didn't last long in the company. And you know, I hadn't seen him for about 7 years. And the next thing I know, he's working with a guy that I'll just call Mighty Mouse.
Okay.
And he was trying everything in the world to find a way to get rid of him. And I told him, I said, well, I'll try him out. I'll take him on, you know. And I thought, in the goodness of my heart, you know, if I hired him, if I give him 50%, I was giving him 100% incentive, giving him 50% of my pay, thinking that if he was about anything and he just showed up for work and worked hard, you know, you can't get no more incentive than 50%.
Correct.
And,
I agree.
And then he started coming in with excuses why he's late and this and that, and you know, and then he just started acting real funny, you know, and so, you know, he talks about those writings on the walls and everything. Well, I took my drywall knife, which is aluminum, and it writes on drywall mud, and I wrote down. I looked on YouTube all the ways that when people are on meth, how they might act and stuff like that, and I was writing all that down so I could memorize it. And he fit every single description of someone who's on meth.
Right.
And so he started.
So why does that change from that to years later? He does the interview with Cher, and it's just you threw mud on the wall. It was Dawn that said there was scriptures. Prayer Garden's right. She's going back to when she was on Benny's. But however, it's still not scriptures. It's signs of what somebody is on meth. So what was he writing? Like, that is fucking weird as fuck, Dawn. I got to admit to that. Why would you even say that? And why does that story change? What an odd thing. Just like the whole resurrection thing. Why all these odd behaviors from a parent of a missing child? I'll never grasp that.
Yeah, go ahead.
And you also wanted him to see it because that's the way he was acting. And when he did see it, he got angry with Donald.
Well, I mean, he was only with me for 2 weeks, maybe 3 at the most.
He says that he worked for you for months. Correct?
No, it's not true.
That wasn't correct, right?
That is not true. He was only with me for 2 or 3 weeks at the very most, and so I had to pay him out of my money. They didn't want to pay him; they wanted nothing to do with him. So I had to pay him out of my money. I had to pay him with checks I got on my bank account. You know, and so
isn't there? Let's step back in time just a little bit.
Okay.
So what was Dudley doing before he worked for Tucker the first run?
I don't know where he went for 7 years. Have no idea what he's done in all that time. I know he caught some kind of charges, but I don't know what they are.
Okay,
I have no clue.
So has he worked for any other drywall companies in the area?
I know we found out through some Facebook or something like that he did have ties with Hammond Drywall. which Tony Hammonds is the one who tried to take that little 12-year-old boy in Kingsport, and I think he's still locked up. So I know he has ties with them.
Okay.
I would love to know more about that. That's odd. I'm curious about Tony Hammond. Ties to the A-Johns, huh? Can you prove that, Dawn? I'm sure you told the feds that. Something. To me, it sounds like they all knew each other well. You know? And that they all came out here lying and had to change each other's stories. So they were getting on panels with each other and switching stories up. Just an opinion. It's just odd behavior.
But other than that, I just don't know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Per Garden.
And he also stated that you owed him a lot more money.
Yeah, of course he would. Now, I mean, I give him 50%. He didn't show up half the time or anything else. And just, I mean, I didn't have to give him anything, but I did.
Yeah.
I give him way more than he was worth because he just went, he started, he was okay. And then he just went downhill and he couldn't even function. I mean, I don't know what the hell he was on or what he was doing, but I assume he was on meth. That's what I assume.
Yeah. Was he ever involved in any stealing of tools or any of that kind of stuff? Or was he okay with that?
I have no idea, you know, anything that he's ever been charged with or anything. I think somebody has looked up his record at one point, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And what about his statement of you were pawning the tools, the company tools for money? Why would he say that?
I have no idea. He's just trying to dig up any dirt he can on me. You know, he's trying to do everything he can to hurt me. You know, and all I did, you know, I hired him. I offered him 50%. You know, if he just worked, all he had to do is show up for work. He couldn't got a better deal than that nowhere. And it just goes to show he's trying to do everything he can to hurt me. You know, and
he's wanting to disgrace your name.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And he also said that you brought your oldest son to work and you were out there smoking weed with your son or around your son or something to that effect. You want to emphasize on that?
I believe that. Look, my mom smoked weed with me when I was like 13, 14 years old. My mom would get me drunk and send me to church to go skating. I'd be all fucked up skating in the church and shit. No kidding. Dawn and Candace, Dawn especially, does approach me like the parent that's more of a friend than a parent with his children and doesn't mind teaching their child young to be the, hey, smoking weed's cool. Here, come here, young boy. For some reason, I believe that after listening to like Crystal Spencer and other people. I could be completely wrong, but I have parents that didn't give a fuck. There are parents out there that are like that.
Yeah, I don't know. He had weed every day. I mean, I don't know. And I smoke weed, but I don't, you know, I've since had to quit smoking weed. I've quit everything, you know. Thank God. You know, I'm glad. I mean, it took a major kick in the ass for me, but I'm glad. You know, yeah, I'm no angel. I'm not trying to say I'm.
And we all know that that was a lie.
Some kind of an angel. I'm not, but I am glad that I was made to step away from all that stuff, and I'm happy about it.
But he wasn't smoking it with your son, your 11-year-old son.
No way.
That's ridiculous.
No.
Absolutely.
That's ridiculous. Let me ask you a question, Don.
Yeah.
The Dudley that we hear on the interview with wherever it was, that's not. Is that the same? Is that the same Dudley that you know, or is that Dudley putting on a show, or is maybe that Dudley off the drugs, or what do you think about what you heard, like specifically?
Well, I didn't even actually watch it all. I mean, Dudley acts one way, but you know, I've seen the real Dudley come out, and he thinks, you know, he down deep, he thinks he's like a gangbanger type. You know, I call it the prison mentality. You know,
right?
And he's got it. He's got prison mentality all the way.
Does Dudley have ties to anybody else besides Tony Hammond that would you know give you a reason to feel suspicious about him even more?
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that he has ties with people in Knoxville and other places, you know, and I don't know. I mean, I have no proof. I don't know, and I'm not going to try to lie on him. I'm going to try to be 100% honest, you know. But I assume, you know, I mean, I just don't know. But with the prison mentality, like I like to call it, or the thug mentality, I assume he's probably got drug connections in Knoxville, but I don't know that.
Right. So, do you know much about Dudley's family?
I don't. I mean, I met his dad and his brother once. I know his dad. Someone told me that his dad has kidnapping charges in the past. I know his brother has done 14 years straight and is recently paroled about 8 months ago after serving 14 years straight. I don't know what that's about. I have no clue. I mean, it's just a matter of record.
This here, actually, if you guys can check on the screen, this is compliments of Miss Prayer Garden. What you're looking at here, do you want to walk us through this prayer?
Someone had sent that to me through an email, and it's obviously the record of Dudley's family member.
Yes.
That I'm not sure what it's all about. I do.
So apparently I seen this and saved it and forgot about it, or I haven't watched the whole thing, or I saved it for a reason, but I have these two. And this is extremely important because I was going to go over it and Killer went over it last night. So let's listen again. I think it's important that everybody hears this, and the more detail you get about it, the more you understand how involved A-Johns are in some really bad, horrible criminal shit. And it's worth a look, in my opinion.
That it's some really bad stuff.
Isn't there's a kidnapping involved in this, correct?
Absolutely. From what I read in it, yes.
Yeah, so there's a kidnapping. I'm reading digital scale, drugs, guns.
Absolutely.
Yeah, pretty nice.
Yeah, this guy was even carrying a walkie-talkie.
The thing, I like them rims because they balance well at high speed.
So tell me, Don.
Yes, sir. Oh, you're good.
Did you know about Dudley's dad's background? At what point did you become aware of it?
Just recently, through YouTubers and people looking into it. Just recently.
Yeah. So it's not something that's like widely known, like that they talk about in the hollers and stuff, right?
No.
Okay. So it like legitimately, no one, like you don't. I shouldn't say no one, but you don't know where this man was at for 7 years.
Right. I do not know.
Yeah. Huh.
All I know is a few times I've seen that prison mentality come out, and he thought he was going to push his way around and everything with that thug mentality, and that ain't going nowhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, what do you want to add to this situation right now, Prayer?
I was just wanting to know, if what Dudley was saying, had any backing to it, which I done talked to Donald, and Donald has absolutely cleared up that 7 years ago he only worked 2 days, which wasn't even 2 days, more like 1 day, because it was a half a day on each day, and he had to get rid of him. Donald also informed me that the second time he worked.
Guys, I got a text message and I have something I have to take care of. So I'm going to get off. And this ends right here at an hour. You know what? We will pick up here tomorrow because I think this is more important than the Dudley. Okay. My shit's going crazy. I think this is more important than the Dudley. It goes with it, but that happened after. This was one of the first things that happened when it came to Dudley, and I think it's more important to listen to this. So, 1 minute, 15 seconds. I'm going to let you guys go. Peace and love. I will promise, maybe I'll even come live in a little bit if anybody's up, and we can go over more of the share one, but I think this one needs more paid attention to. I'm glad I found it. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Peace and love. Bye.